Hi everyone, my name is Michelle.
Hi, my name is Laura.
My name is Manuela. My name is Mariana.
And we are The Cousins Code. Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today we're doing a TV show and movie Netflix recommendations. So what we're going to be doing is discussing our favorite TV shows and movies. And we're also going to be doing a short game at the end of this video. So stay tuned and sit back, relax, and get cozy with us.
If you haven't watched our very first video, get to know us by watching it.
And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe while you're here. And if you missed our last video, please be sure to check it out.
Okay, so Manu, what are you watching?
So I've been watching the Gossip Girl and The Office, but since I found out like a week ago that it was getting kicked out of Netflix, so I haven't only until December 31st to finish watching it. I've been like staying up like until like 5 or 6 in the morning trying to catch up. And like right now I have a season to go for Gossip Girl, and then I'm only gonna have like 4 days to finish 3 more seasons of The Office. So I've been pretty stressed out.
You can do it. I love The Office. It's my favorite show.
But yeah, so we decided, obviously, like Michelle said, to do our favorite show or movie. So today I'll be doing 2 shows. My first show is Jane the Virgin. It's a comedy show that can be found on Netflix now. At first, it was just on TV. And they have 5 seasons on. And it's basically about this girl who, like the title says, is a virgin. And she goes for a her gyno appointment, and by mistakes gets artificially inseminated, and she becomes pregnant. And she lives in a very like Catholic household, raised by like her grandma and her mom, was a younger rebel and had her at a young age. So Jane wants to do everything opposite her mom. She doesn't want to get pregnant as a teenager, or doesn't want to get pregnant young. Even though she does everything to avoid that, she ends up getting pregnant anyway at a really young age. It's a comedy show. I really liked it. I think it's a very good show to watch with your family. It's for all ages, and it really like makes you get into tears, laugh, get upset. So, but overall, I loved it. It's a great show.
And the guys aren't half bad too, so always a plus.
Yeah, they're pretty cute.
So I would recommend Soul Surfer, and it's a movie about this girl who she grew up in Hawaii, and her parents were always surfing. So when she grew older, she wanted to be part of competitions of surfing. And one day, she got bit by a shark. So this movie is pretty much about all the challenges she faces and like everything she needs to go through in order to be able to compete. So yeah, it's a really good movie, and we see how she evolves around the movie. How about you, Manu?
A pretty good show would be Dawson's Creek, and this show is basically about a young boy. He's like, let's say 14 or 15, and he has this best friend who's a girl. They've been best friends for a while. And they basically starts off like the same. They've had the same relationship where they're like, well, friendship that it's like, oh, you sleep over their houses, blah blah blah. But one day, like she realizes that they're growing up and that it's uncomfortable now that your bodies start evolving. And like she tries to get him to see that, but he thinks like nothing has changed. Like they can just hang out and sleep on the same bed, and that's not a problem. It's like a growing up, coming of age story basically. And you just like see relationships start like finding first love.
Oh, when did that that's like a old like
yeah, it's like from the 1990s. I like just started watching it like a couple of months ago, but it's really it's really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like a show that I would watch. She got me to watch like a few episodes, so it looked interesting. What about you, Michelle?
So since she said Dawson's Creek, I'm gonna say Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek is about this family that like is like super rich, like they're really wealthy. They live in a huge house, mansion, whatever. And then they finds out that their like accountant stole from the family, and like they left him like broke and everything. And so they have to move to this small town called Schitt's Creek. And then they basically have to like live there because they're broke and they don't have anything. And it's on Netflix. It just finished. So they put their last season out, and it's so beautiful. It's really funny, it's really quirky, it's so cute. I love it, and you guys really should watch it.
Love it. Okay, my other show is Outlander, and this show is kind of like a historical show, but it's more leaning towards fantasy. It's romantic, it has a little bit of comedy, but it's more of a serious tone rather than like the first one I shared, which was Jane the Virgin. And this one I loved. You learn a lot of historical facts about Scotland. It basically takes place, most of it takes place in Scotland. Part of it now, like the future seasons take place in Boston. But for the most part, it takes place in Scotland. And it's about this couple who goes on their honeymoon and the guy decides to like start finding out his like family tree, and he goes digging, and his family's from Scotland, so he takes his wife there and they start going through like his genealogical tree, and she touches this rock, this magical rock, and she gets taken back into the past. We're not talking like a couple years into the past, we're talking centuries. So she's like way into Scotland's past. And they get separated, obviously. Her husband stays in the present and she goes back centuries. So it's kind of like that story where she's trying to get back obviously to the past, but there's a lot that she ends up doing in the past, that like it puts everything at risk. Like she doesn't know if she wants to go back or if she wants to stay where she is. So I don't know. I loved it. I personally really enjoyed it. And I'm only in the first 3 seasons because Netflix refuses to put season 4 and 5. Because currently the show is from Stars, the app. So I've been thinking about getting Stars just to be able to finish it. But yeah, it's a really good show that you would also enjoy with your family.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right, so my next one is also a movie, and it's a Watch to Remember. And it's about this girl who she's really not popular, and she's really religious, like, yeah, very conservative with her family. And one day she ends up making this guy fall in love with her because, you know, just by the way she is, and she doesn't really care about what people think. And it turns out that she ends up having cancer. So it just pretty much summarizes like everything that she has to face and what he has to face now that he has fallen in love with her. And keep in mind, this guy's a really popular person. Like, he's one of the most popular students in the school. So all the challenges they have to face, and yeah, just knowing that she has cancer and what they have to deal with going forward. So it's a really sad movie, and it's really romantic. So yeah, I would really recommend it.
So I would recommend another show that I've been watching and I love. There's only 1 season of it, and it's called Julie and the Phantoms. I absolutely love the show and like the soundtrack. So it's about this girl. She recently lost her mom. I think it's been a year that she died. And she stopped playing music because that's like the one like bond she had with her mom. And one day she plays the CD, and these 3 ghosts appear. So 3 boys. Their names are Luke, Alex, and Reggie. And they realize that they've been dead for 25 years. And they kind of want to discover like how they got back, or like what happened to them, and why they're there with her, and why she's the only person that can see them. So I guess they just embark on a journey. They become, since they want to get her back into music because that's kind of like what she loves to do. So they form a band and they call it Julie and the Phantoms. So yeah, basically, and then there's a little like love story between like
one of the members,
Luke and Julie. But it's really fun. Like, it's really like hard, like, how do I say this? Like, really inspiring. It's emotional. Yeah. Like, really good. Like, the music is like, I love it. Like, I hear the soundtrack literally like about like twice a day, every day. Like, I really love it. Like, the songs are amazing. They're really emotional, and I don't know, it's just really good. You can watch it with your whole family.
So the last show that I want to recommend is it has been out for a while. It's called Shameless. I know a lot of people have heard of it and a lot of people have watched it, but I feel like since it's coming out with their last season, it's good to recommend it now just so people can catch up before they put out the new season. Shameless is about a really dysfunctional family. So there's like a bunch of kids and then one dad because mom is never around. And so it's the oldest, which is Fiona, then it's Lip, then it's Ian, and then it's Carl,
Debbie, and then
Liam, and then it's the dad, which is Frank. And then they all live in one house in Chicago. They're always getting into like these terrible things with each other. And the dad's an alcoholic. They're all trying to find like work. It's really funny. They do drugs, drink. I don't think it's a family show, but I think it's a good ass show to watch and binge watch before they put out their last season. But it's good. I love that show.
Okay, so now moving on to our would you rather speed round. We have a few questions and we're gonna quickly answer them going around.
Okay, so these 2 questions, no, the first question I'm gonna ask, the 2 shows that I'm gonna ask it about are like the ones that Netflix got rid of, obviously, because, you know, Netflix got rid of the best shows ever, but okay. Would you rather watch The Office or Friends?
I just love Friends. It's like my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I think I would say Friends, and I know Michelle's probably like, what? Michelle likes Friends too, but I know you're like, yeah. I think like I agree with Manuela. Just Friends, I don't know.
But Office over anything. So
No, it's good. Like I love both of them though.
Yeah, I would definitely say Friends. I don't know. I just feel like it's more like more relatable. I don't know.
Okay. The next one would be between which would you prefer, Grey's Anatomy or How to Get Away with Murder?
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah,
Grey's.
Grey's. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
I got them hooked on Grey's Anatomy. It was really good. I used to see me random days in IKEA.
Yeah.
Just bawling in IKEA watching Grey's Anatomy.
As soon as I saw she was crying so much, I'm like, this has to be a really great show.
Yeah.
What about you, Michelle?
I would say Grey's. I love How to Get Away with Murder, but I kind of fell off at one point. I started watching How to Get Away with Murder before I started watching Grey's, and I think midway of How to Get Away with Murder, I started watching Grey's, and that's why I fell off of How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah.
Talking about Grey's Anatomy, are you more like Christina or Meredith?
Meredith.
I'm definitely more like Meredith. I feel like Christina is all surgery and
all
like she's very career focused. I don't think I'm like that. I think I'm a middle of both.
And have
like
more
career.
time for relationships and friendships. Like I feel like
Yeah.
she didn't have time for that, or children too. Like that's what was a deal breaker for her.
I feel like I'm Arizona.
Right. I don't think I'm either both like Meredith or Christina. Like I'm not either. I feel like I don't know who else I would be. I feel like I'd be a Kevin. I don't know.
Oh my God. April, talk about April's arc from the beginning to like the end, and you're like,
amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot stand her in the beginning.
That's also why I love that show. I feel like everyone progresses so much.
Character development was on point in that show.
Would you guys prefer rewatching a show or starting a brand new one?
Rewatching.
Yeah,
Rewatching. That's what I do every day of my life. Binge watch and rewatch.
Although there's some good ones that you start watching, by chance you run into them and they turn out to be really good. There's actually a lot that I've watched like that, and they end up being like really great shows. But I agree, I would probably go with rewatching.
But I definitely have to be someone like that. People have recommended me something, because I can't just watch something out of nowhere.
No.
Like I have to like see that people are watching something and really liking it for me to watch it. Like that's the only way.
I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I literally just go through Netflix and I just start
adding
to my list. And
Yeah.
I'm, okay.
If I can watch trailers, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I literally base myself off of these two.
Yeah, she really like.
I see if they really love it, then I give it a try.
If Mariana would spend the amount of time she spends on social media watching Netflix, she'd be like us. But I'm like the opposite.
All right, next question.
What do you guys prefer, movies or TV shows?
Movies for me.
TV shows, like even though movies are quick, that's a good thing about them, but also bad because you always like are left wanting more. TV shows at least extend, like you have something more to watch,
But then when it's done, you're like, what do I do now with my life? Like,
watching.
That's how I felt with Friends. When I was done with Friends, I was like,
what is life?
Yeah, like what do I do now?
Rewatch it.
How about you, Michelle?
I think if I'm alone, shows. If I'm with someone else, movies.
Yeah, because you can't even get into a random episode of a show with someone there, like, unless they've been watching it with you or on their own.
Okay.
Do you guys prefer dating shows or cooking shows?
Cooking shows.
I love both. Both of what I can't do. Yeah, I know.
I'm the only one that's never watched a cooking show.
I love it.
I think Stephanie got us hooked, to be honest.
No, I've always I've always watched cooking shows and like pastry shows, like the like cupcake, with the Sugar Rush, Cupcake Wars, like all those type of shows. Like I love watching that. Like I could just like watch all day. I find that really interesting.
I probably should. Maybe I learn to cook if I gave it a try. But I've watched dating shows. One that I recently watched that's on Netflix is Love is Blind. So that one has a really interesting concept that I think you guys should check out. It was fun. Well, the reason we also decided to do this video in particular and with Netflix in mind is because I know like with social distancing, people have been at home a lot more. And if you're like me or my sisters, like we've been watching so many different shows, so many great shows and movies throughout this pandemic. And we hope that you can enjoy, the rest of this winter or wherever you're from. It could be warm. Just stay cozy at home, social distancing with your family, and watching a great show or movie. Just like Michelle.
And we also want to wish everyone a happy and safe New Year.
Yeah, this is our last video of the year, so we hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that you share, like, comment, and subscribe.
And remember, if you missed our last video, please be sure to check it out.
Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at The Cousins Code. See you next time.
Bye.